to COA family, especially our distinguished sponsor. Good morning po sa atin lahat. Before I proceed to my question, Mr. Speaker, distinguished sponsor, pwede ba natin i-cite kung ano yung mission ng ating COA?
Pardon, Mr. Speaker?
Yung mission, remember, all the government agency, meron tayong mission and vision. I just wanna look back, ano ba ang mission natin? And of course, vision.
Mr. Speaker, ang vision, a trustworthy, respected, and independent audit institution that is an enabling partner of government in ensuring a better life for every Filipino. Vision, to ensure accountability for public resources, promote transparency, and help improve government operations in partnership with stakeholders for the benefit of the Filipino people.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, distinguished sponsor. In short, tayo po ang igabantay ng pera ng bayan. Tama ba yun?
Yes, Mr. Speaker, that is correct.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, distinguished sponsor. The Commission on Audit, as we know, is the constitutional guardian of public funds. Its work affects not only how billions are spent, but also how much trust our people can place in government institutions. For this reason, Mr. Speaker, now, more than ever, it is important to scrutinize not just the resources we grant to COA, but also the way it fulfills its unique mandate. First, on the constitutional mandate and scope of authority of COA, Mr. Speaker, distinguished sponsor, the Constitution entrusts COA with the examination, audit, and settlement of all accounts of government funds and property. My first question, with over 42,000 entities under its jurisdiction, including LGUs, NGAs, and GOCCs, may we ask how does COA determines its priorities in audit coverage? In particular, how does it balance its focus between local government units, which comprise about 65% of auditees, and the other sectors such as the NGAs and GOCCs? Paano natin binabalance po ito sa dami po ng ating ino-audit, over 42,000 entities?
Majority Leader, please. Mr. Speaker, next to interpolate sponsor, I move that we recognize Representative Antonio Inyo.
Teachers Party List.
Teachers Party List.
Representative Antonio L. Trino. You're recognized, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Well, una po, ay nagpapasalamat ako sa COA dahil nag-request kami sa kanilang opisina ng mga kopya ng mga audit reports from their fraud audit office on the audit that was initiated in relation to the controversial projects in Bulacan. So, meron po tayong natanggap na seven copies of the fraud audit reports on the flood control projects in Bulacan. No? Kailan nga po sinimulan o ginawa ang mga fraud audit reports na ito, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Sponsor?
Mr. Speaker, the fraud audit report commenced on August 12, 2025. The chairperson issued a memorandum, conduct a audit of flood control projects in province of Bulacan.
August 12 po.
Yes,
And this was initiated by an order of the COA chair.
yes.
Okay. And was this in response to an order of the president or a directive of the president, or was this done on the initiative of COA?
The COA took the lead coming from the office of the president, and
Okay.
accordingly, the COA issued a memorandum.
All right. Thank you. So, the president, as it were, set the tone and direction, and this was COA's way of responding in a way to that call, no? Mula nung SONA, yung mahiya naman kayo speech, ito na po yung naging tugon. Okay. And August 12 po sinimulan, kailan po nakumpleto ang mga audit reports na ito? Kasi nga ngayon, ito na po, hawak ko ng mga report.
It's not yet over, Mr. Speaker. Actually, kulang pa yung ito.
Kulang pa.
May anin pa na isa-submit, and quickly, COA will submit the fraud audit reports quickly. Aside from the 13 right now, 13
13 are ongoing, is that it? Or have been completed?
the 13 refers to completed
Fraud audit
fraud audit
reports.
report.
Okay. And I actually only have 8, but that's fine. Eventually siguro, pwedeng makakuha ng kompleto. Mga gaano katagal po? How long does one of these reports take? Gaano katagal po? August 12. Para malaman din po ng mga kasamahan at kababayan natin, gaano katagal ba usually ang isang makaproduce ng isang comprehensive review or audit of such projects?
With reference to Bulacan, it took about 2 to 3 weeks to
2 to 3
complete the fraud audit report.
Thank you for that. Okay, so now we have a better idea. Mga 2 to 3 weeks po ang kailangan para makapag-produce nito. And I have not read all, pero I am going through some, and of course, this is very instructive reading. So, mas nade-detalye talaga ng COA kung paano ba talaga, ano ba talaga yung ginagawang, paano ginagawa yung corruption, no, sa infrastructure projects, particularly dito sa flood control. In this case, I randomly opened one. This is report number 2025-011, and this pertains to a contract of Sims Construction Trading. Ayan na nga po, yung whistleblower, di ba? Isa yung taga Sims Construction. This is for the construction of reinforced concrete river wall at Purok 4, Barangay Piel, Baliwag, Bulacan. Worth 55.7 million pesos. At ang findings po, just for everyone's perhaps enlightenment, no? Una, ang sabi, finding number 1, the project site location of contract ID number 25CC 0252 in the approved bid plans differed from the pinpointed location of the project during ocular inspection. So yung una, may coordinates dun sa kontrata, pero nung hinanap sa actual ay iba. No, wala dun. Finding 2, the original project location of contract ID so-and-so, ito na yung binasa ko, indicated in the approved bid plans coincided or overlapped with contract ID number 25CC 0064. So yung it was the approved location was the same location as another project that was apparently already completed. So, ang basic finding nito ay essentially ghost project. Parang ganon ang findings. So, ito po yung isa sa mga findings na nahanap po na ghost project pala ito, 55 million pesos worth. Ngayon, of course, napakahalaga po nung ganitong mga tipo ng fraud audit. At sa iba, I'm scanning through them, nakikita yung mga sabi daw, yung mga ibang specifications ng project nakabaon sa lupa, hindi naman daw ma-verify kung nandun talaga o hindi. Yung mga ganon, no? Or sabi, yung unit of measurement na ginagamit is cubic meters instead of square meters. Kaya maybe that could lead to inflation of the contract price and so on. So, ang point ko lang, kaya po mahalaga yung mga ganitong audit report dahil nga sa detalye, nakikita natin kung paano talaga dinadaya ang gobyerno at nakukurakot ang pera. No, the devil is always in the details, sabi nga, at ito yung mga konkretong paraan kung paano, well, to be frank, ninanakawan ang gobyerno. Napakagaling. No, saludo tayo sa mga gumawa nito within the span of 2 to 3 weeks, pero ito ang sentimiento ng marami, bakit ngayon lang? No? Alam niyo po, Mr. Speaker, ginoong sponsor, ang mga kababayan natin, malaki ang tiwala sa COA. No? Ang pagtingin nila, kayo na po yung last line of defense ng gobyerno kontra sa pandarambong, kontra sa pangungurakot. Diba? Parang kasabihan na yan na pag meron silang nakikita naman, baka makuha ka, ipapakuha kita. Ganon. Diba? Dahil meron ganung pagtingin sa institusyon. And in the past, lalo na halimbawa, nung panahon ng PDAF scam or pork barrel scam ni Napoles, ay talaga pong tumaas na ang prestigyo ng COA dahil napakahalaga ng naging papel ng COA through its special audit conducted on the soft pork barrel of Congress, yung para sa mga livelihood projects, yun yung nilalako ni Napoles. Yun po, napaka-prominente ng papel ng COA para ma-uncover yung scam, no? Pero dito po sa flood control corruption scandal, which has been going on for many years, hindi lang po ito sa panahon ng kasalukuyang administrasyon, bagaman ang focus ngayon ay panay sa mga flood control projects under the current administration, kahit yung sumbong sa Pangulo website, nagsisimula lang yan sa 2022. Pero yung mga flood control projects, alam natin, mas maaga pa meron na. No, panahon ng Aquino, lalong dumami nung panahon ng Duterte. Diba? Napabalita nga, napakalaki halimbawa ng naibuhos na flood control sa Davao City alone. Pero hindi pa nga yan napag-uusapan ngayon. Our point being, the corruption in flood control infrastructure projects has been going on for many years. Ngunit, bakit ngayon lang nakapag-produce ng ganito, mga napakahusay na mga fraud audit report ang COA. No? And sabi nga, well, it only takes 2 to 3 weeks. No? Kung nagawa po ito ng mas maaga, baka sana nasawata o napigilan kagad, nalantad at napigilan kagad ang malaganap na pandarambong na nakikita natin ngayon. Matanong ko lang po, for our enlightenment, ano po bang pinakamaagang pagkakataon na maaaring makapag-intervene ang COA? No? In the process of execution, budget execution, yung ini-implement na po ang mga proyekto na aprobahan na po ang GAA. So, i-release na ang pera sa mga ensya, sa DPWH. What is the earliest point at which COA and its auditors could have intervened in this process? Ano po yung pwede po ba ma-enlighten tayo sa mga steps ng auditing?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, distinguished colleague, for that question. The question, bakit ngayon? Speaker, yung nakikita ng COA, common, lahat-lahat ng mga common problems arising from auditees. Una, yung kulang yung documents, lack of documents. Second, yung pandemic. There's no audit conducted during the time of pandemic. Ito malala. Pollution, and breakdown of controls. With the limited personnel of COA, despite of its limitation, COA finds DPWH, as I mentioned a while ago, issued a lot of notice of disallowances. So, ito ngayon, imagine, for Bulacan, dalawa lang taon na doon, the supervising auditor and a member. Dalawa lang. For the first district engineering office, second district engineering office, and fifth, tatlong DEO ang hawak. Meron pang 8 LTO, Plant Transportation Office. So, ikita mo, dalawa lang yung tao. So, mahirap talaga na magawa, gampanan ang trabaho ng COA with a very limited personnel. Dalawa lang. So, bakit 2 to 3 weeks lang? Because naglaan ang COA, because this is a special fraud audit ng maraming personnel. So, naglagay silang maraming auditor, technical auditors, kaya nangyari 2 to 3 weeks lang. Because, ito nga, para ma-aksyonan ka agad. That's the reason, Mr. Chair, talagang itong the way also COA's yung audit niya is tawag din post-audit. Kung sana mayroong pre-audit before, just like before, ay pre-audit. Kasi yung engagement ng COA, after na sa transaction, post na, tapos na, nangyari na. Sana kung may pre-audit, wala pa, yun, maybe COA can prevent or flag this anomalous transaction. That is the reason, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Thank you for that response, Mr. Sponsor, Speaker. So, ang sinasabi po ay una, may kakapusan po talaga ng personnel ang COA. No? So, limited ang kakayahan na makapag-monitor ng mga proyekto at programa ng gobyerno, particularly at lower levels. Ganun po yung isang naririnig natin. Pangalawa, auditing po is post-implementation. So, after the fact. No? Okay, noted po yun. Parang ang sinasabi po ng sponsor is, well, in the end, dahil sa mga limitasyong ito, ay hindi, walang magagawa. Parang gano'n. Walang magagawa ang COA no, sa harap ng malaganap at malawakang pandarambong sa pondo ng taong bayan. Yan po ang narinig ko, Ginoong Speaker, Ginoong Sponsor. And in fact, ganoon naman talaga ang nangyari. No, dahil merong lumalabas na pandarambong ng daan-daang milyong piso sa flood control pa lamang, wala naman talagang nagawa ang COA. In 2023, meron pong around probably 300 million in flood control projects na napatupad. Tapos in 2024, even more. Several hundred millions going on into 2025. Hindi po napigilan ito ng COA or hindi na-flag ng COA at walang mga kasong na-file. At ngayon na lamang po, no, dahil nga nasimulan na after the SONA, yung focus at pag-imbestiga sa mga flood control projects. That is the sad reality, Mr. Speaker. No? Ngayon, so ito po, in other words, kung ang sinasabi ng COA ay ulang po ang tao namin, pangalawa, post-audit na po. Pero actually, okay, hindi po natin tatanggapin yung ganung sagot. No? Kasi, yes, you do a post-audit. Well, you had all the time in the world to do the post-audit for 2023 of the DPWH budget, post-audit and audit report in 2024. Wala naman pong recommendations na magsampa ng mga kaso sa audit ninyo ng COA, unless I am mistaken. Pero wala naman po. Sa pagkakaalam ko, tama po ba yun? Did COA ever have findings of fraud in the 2024 DPWH budget and the 2025 DPWH budget? At meron ba kayong nirecommend na sampahan ng mga kaso in 2024, 2023, and 2024?
Mr. Speaker, I would like to clarify, sabihin natin walang nagawa. Part is constricted limitation, funding, other personnel. Let me remind the August Chamber that yung mga fraud audits conducted by COA noon, no? Formally, laptop purchase,
Yes.
Marikina Fiscal Audit, Cagayan Province,
Okay.
and so yung mga the famous formally saka yung
Opo.
laptop, they have already been submitted to the
Thank
office
you.
of the Ombudsman.
Yes.
And I believe there is now a case
Yes.
against those responsible
But,
officers.
Mr. Speaker, the point of the sponsor is well taken. No? Tama po kayo. Yun nga po, yung formally scandal, yung sabi nyo, yung overpriced DepEd laptop procurement, may mga binanggit pa kayong iba. So, to be fair to COA, at yun na nga, ginawa ng COA sa mga kasong yan ang kanyang trabaho. At yan po ang inaasahan talaga sa COA. No? Tama po yun. Kaya lang, yung sinabi ko naman kanina ay bakit walang ganyan na nakita tayo para sa DPWH. No? Lalo na nitong mga taong 2023 and 2024. Dahil yan nga po ang inaasahan din ng publiko, ng mamamayang Pilipino sa inyo. No? So, tama kayo na lantad yung formally. Meron ng mga nakasuhan, yung DepEd, laptop, overpriced laptops, nalantad yung mga overpricing, ka-audit niyan, tapos naging basis para sa pagsasampa ng mga kaso. Bakit po dito na daan-daang bilyon po ang pinag-uusapan natin. Actually, aabot pa sa trilyon. No? Ngunit, wala tayong ganong kasing masusi na pagsusuyod sa budget ng DPWH para mahuli. Itong eventually, nakita nyo na. No? Yun lang po.
Speaker, distinguished interpreter, since 2016 up to the present, September 2025, the Office Department of Public Works and Highways being subject to notice of suspension, the amount of 1.3 trillion, notice of disallowance, 5.8 billion, and notice of charge, 8.8 million. So, this only shows that COA is doing something. Ito lang nangyari ngayon, flood control, scandal, comes up because of yung sabi ni Pangulo, yung suna ng Pangulo, and now, the COA is doing its part, no? But even before that, the COA has issued notice of disallowance to COA, to DPWH, disallowance to DPWH. So, I think COA is doing its fair share of also detecting irregularities and anomaly in our system. Pero, nakikita, kung gusto talaga natin, no, matulungan na yung COA, bigyan natin ang pondo ang COA. They are asking for 4.5 billion for total digitalization para mas madali. Data analytics, geotagging, lahat-lahat yung mga how to detect frauds. And we are only allocating 150 million pesos. Napakalayo. So, how can we expect an office to perform 100%? Ito lang, maliit ang pondo binibigay natin. So, I hope that the Congress will help COA embark on a 5-year development plan. It's cost about 4.5 billion for full digitalization of its system.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker at ginoong sponsor. Bilang huling punto na po, ay nais ko pong balikan muli yung punto na unang ni-raise natin nung budget briefing ng COA at ni-raise din ng ibang mga kasamahan natin. No, ito po yung usapin ng constitutional violation ng isa sa inyong mga commissioner, si Commissioner Lipana. No? Malinaw po, again, sa Constitution, no member of a constitutional commission shall during his tenure hold any other office or employment, neither shall he engage in the practice of any profession or in the active management or control of any business which in any way be affected by the functions of his office, nor shall he be financially interested directly or indirectly in any contract with or in any franchise or privilege granted by the government, any of its subdivisions, agencies, or instrumentalities. No? So, again, malinaw po, ang sinasabi po rito, hindi po maaaring may either direct or indirect financial interest ang sino mang commissioner ng isang constitutional commission, kasama po ang COA, sa mga kontrata ng gobyerno. No? At malinaw na po, na-establish na po na ang asawa ni Commissioner Lipana ay isang well-known and well-established government contractor. No? Bago pa man ang administrasyon na ito, ay supplier na ang kanyang kumpanya ng, among others, fire trucks. No? Along with, in partnership with another one, FCURA, ay nagsusupply po ng fire trucks sa DILG. Tapos sa ilalim ng kasalukuyang administrasyon ay na-establish po na may mga infrastructure contracts including flood control projects in Bulacan, no? Including for the year 2023. No, including for the current year 2025. No, meron pa mga ongoing contracts in fact ang asawa ng commissioner. So ang punto po, napakalinaw po ng constitutional violation. Pinagbabawal po ito. And yet, nandyan pa po si Commissioner Lipana. No? So once again, Mr. Speaker, ginoong sponsor, nananawagan po tayo, malakas na ipinanawagan po natin, dapat naman isaalang-alang ng Commissioner ang institusyon ng COA. No? Dahil silang-sira po ang kredibilidad ng COA habang meron kayong commissioner na ang asawa ay isa sa mga flood control contractors. Kaya muli, panawagan po natin, kailangan na po dapat kagyat na mag-resign si Commissioner Lipana upang kahit papano ay makabawi at ma-restore ang credibility and reputation ng COA, Mr. Speaker, ginoong sponsor.
Mr. Speaker, this issue has been raised so many times, even before this budget hearing. And right now, Commissioner Lipana is in a serious medical condition and on leave. However, the commission itself, commission proper, has no disciplining authority over a sitting commissioner. Because under the law, it's only by impeachment that he can be removed by Congress. So either he will resign or be impeached. And because of his serious medical condition, the commission unable to communicate with him. I hope that it's good for the good of the commission. He will resign.
Right.
I agree with that.
Well, thank you for that response, Mr. Speaker. Thank you to the sponsor for agreeing with the position that the commissioner must resign. But in the end, as you said, this will be a personal decision of the commissioner who at present is not here. Okay, with that, I end my interpellation, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Thank you, Teacher Party List, Congressperson Tinio. Majority Leader, please.
Thank you, Teachers Party List Representative.